Alright guys, this quick video is going to just review filling out the outline and the two different options and why you might choose one or the other. You will have to turn in this outline with your final draft. So make sure you do this. This will help you to write your essay. So on Tuesday the 27th in class, you received you received a paper with both of these. One on the front, one on the back. You're going to do one side or the other, not both. And you're not writing paragraphs in here. You're writing phrases or short sentences. Okay? Now the outlines are different depending on how you plan on accomplishing this. So if you're going to use outline 1, that means you have 3 arguments for your thesis statement that you want to use. In each paragraph, you're going to address the opposing viewpoint in the paragraph. Outline 2, let's say you only have 2 really good arguments. You're going to put those here, and then you're going to have one full paragraph with the opposing viewpoint. So this is how it would work. So let me kind of zoom in here a little bit. Okay, so where it says thesis statement, I would just simply rewrite this thesis statement that's in the box that we did last week. Alright, so let's say my first argument, and for this side we're going to say 4 cell phones in class. Okay, so you would write your thesis statement right there. So let's say my first argument is educational purposes. Here, if I were doing this format, I would write maybe quote from resource 1 if I had a quote from resource 1, or I would maybe list the educational purposes, notes, and apps, calculator. Okay, now when I actually write this paragraph, I'm going to say one reason cell phones should be allowed in class is for educational purposes. There are many educational purposes, and then I would maybe write my quote out and write down all the different educational purposes and how they could be used. My next paragraph, let's say my next reason for cell phones in class is for emergencies. And then I would list right here just some of the reasons. Maybe there's a threat in the school I need to let my parents know about. Maybe I am sick. Maybe I forgot a project. Maybe I've got a quote from resource 4 that goes well with that. Okay, so this is again this is format 2. I'm kind of doing this backwards, but it's okay. Now in this paragraph, I need to present all of the opposing viewpoints, all of the reasons that we should not have cell phones in class. There are distractions sometimes. Okay? Maybe my second opposing viewpoint is that kids have learned without them forever. Maybe my third opposing viewpoint, we have distractions, we have kids have learned without them forever, is there can be inappropriate uses. Okay, that's all I'm going to write in here. Now in my paragraph, when I write that, I'm going to write why they're wrong. I'm going to write, yeah, they can be distracting, but kids have learned without them forever, but inappropriate uses, but. And then in my conclusion, I'm just simply going to rewrite my thesis statement. Okay, so now what you see here is I have, and I'll make this bold just for consistency, I've got what I'm putting in each paragraph. So as I write my paper, I know, okay, this first paragraph I'm going to write about educational purposes. That's all I'm going to write about. This paragraph I'm going to write about emergencies. That's all I'm going to write about. This third paragraph I'm going to write about these different opposing viewpoints. Okay, now let's say we were doing number 1. And for this one, we'll put no cell phones allowed in class. Okay, so now for this one, if I've got 3 really strong arguments, I'm going to list them here. So let's say my first argument I'm going to use for why we should not have cell phones in classes. They are distracting. Now, for this one, to present the opposing viewpoint, I have to do it in the paragraph. So the opposing viewpoint is there are many distractions. Okay, and then I would explain why that's wrong. Okay, so guys, as you can see, this is not supposed to be a ton of writing to do this. Let's say my second reason why there should not be cell phones allowed in class is because there are inappropriate uses. An opposing viewpoint could be kids will use them appropriately anyway. Okay, and in that paragraph I'm going to talk about the inappropriate uses. I'm going to talk about why that's not a good argument. And let's say my third reason is that schools already have resources. Okay, an opposing viewpoint could be that school resources aren't up to date. Okay, so this, as you can see, this is all it should be. Then again, I'm just going to state my thesis statement again. So, I have an outline here of what exactly I'm going to write about in each paragraph, so that as I write my rough draft, I know what I'm doing.